Reaperman here. Today I have a review of Super Nintendo Repro games that I picked up a short time ago from Aliexpress.com. Now I have a long history of reviewing repros. Some of this channel's very first videos back in 2011 were covering Famicom repros of highly questionable quality, and on a live stream just a few videos ago I beat a Star Fox 2 repro, which was just a great game Nintendo released with the Super Nintendo Classic last year. First off, obviously, repros are pirated games. The original creators of the titles generally get nothing from repro sales. eBay is lousy with them, Etsy is lousy with them, and they vary greatly in quality. Etsy's tend to have more of a handmade feel and a premium price. eBay's a total crapshoot and you never really know what you're getting, but the best place to get these, in my opinion, is China, straight from the source of the best. There are a lot of types of titles available. There's straight up pirates of games, often multi-carts too, and I get it. These are $10 to $15, and for those getting into Super Nintendo collecting, they now have to deal with $100 Chrono Triggers. I can't fault anybody for picking these up. Chrono Trigger was like $30 when I got it. But I'm a collect-hard, and this is not what attracts me. The games that attract me most are the games that never came out here, so hacks, translations, full-on homebrews. And these homebrews tend to be either unauthorized by the maker, or sometimes you get Hong Kong originals, as we used to call the Chinese ones, which are almost legit, though they often piggyback off of some IP the creator definitely does not own. Anyway, I just kind of want a physical copy of the games that I can't get in any legitimate way. If you're watching this, you've probably already got a great way to play all of these games. Flashcards by Retrobit or Crix, your Super NT, even emulation. It really doesn't matter. We've played them before. There are no mysteries here. Something in my body simply craves these plastic rectangles or something. So I'm not really going to go much into how these games play because they play right. Of course they do. You can see some Super NT footage of them playing in the background if you don't believe me. Now there are some that probably won't play fine. Games to watch out for. For example, most repro makers, even those fancy Etsy ones, are usually too lazy to get Star Ocean right. That game's a pain with translated speech bubbles patches, English language patches, and often uncompression patches. It took me the better part of a week to get it working on my power pack. But I digress. Let's look at the games I actually did buy from Aliexpress. I grabbed these four, all of which are games that were never released here. I went with Dragon Quest VI, Final Fantasy V, Terranigma, and Secret of Mana 2. As you can see, nothing says that they're repros on the label. Though they do lack an ESRB rating, and I think at the time at least most of these would have had one. They also use the same security bit as a regular Super Nintendo game, and the plastic is more or less indistinguishable from the original. Now that's a big win over Chinese repros from just 10 years ago. Flipping around back, we can compare one to a legit cart. As you can see, I label my repros as fake and Sharpie. See, I plan on dying someday, and when my wife sells my collection, I don't want you weirdos getting pissy with her. Anyway, there are actually a wide variety of back labels on Super Nintendo games. This was a fact I wasn't fully aware of until just today. While I'm sure they stole the verbiage from somewhere, I just couldn't find it in my collection. Hey, quiz time! What's the first thing you guys do when new games arrive? Play them? Read the manual? Well, those answers are for nerds. I'm a Neo Geo fan, so the answer to that question is obviously I open them up with a screwdriver and take pictures for weirdos on the internet. But this shows off exactly why I bought these games. See, the seller I got these from did something I've never seen a repro maker do. He showed a picture of the board right in the advertisement, and it was gloriously clean. When ordering from sites like Etsy, they're handmade. This is assuming the seller isn't some lame-ass marking the Chinese carts up. But handmade is code for sloppy solder with wires and hot glue everywhere. Now, here's one I bought from Etsy, Tactics Ogre. Obviously, the collect-tard in me loved the plastic case, and this is just a great game. It's about these child soldiers getting dicked over. No matter what choices they make, war is not kind to them. It plays out like Final Fantasy Tactics and is actually somewhat related to it, but it's a bit more gritty. Oh, for one moral dilemma from early in the game, do you slaughter a town full of mermaids or disobey orders and fight it out with your own team who wants you to slaughter mermaids? That's a trick question, because both answers lead to misery. Try it today. You'll like it, I promise. I do kind of disagree with the fake kids to adult rating on this permadeath cry-in though, but whatever. Now this particular Etsy repro is actually quite heavy, and that's the number one sign that some jankery is afoot inside. Opening it up, we can see why. So a ROM chip has been removed from the donor, and a daughter board has been stuck to the bottom with a big ol' EEPROM on it. This is actually much cleaner than I was expecting. I thought the weight was from about 1,000,000 little wires doing exactly what the daughter board is doing. But now what's this? Up in the corner. See these little batteries? These are what keep me up at night. They power SRAM, which saves our game progress. Eventually, they'll die, and if we're unlucky, it'll take out the whole game board in the process. I have no idea if this battery is new. I really don't think it is, based entirely on it having the markings that legit Super Nintendo games tend to have on their batteries. These batteries have tabs welded to them, and those tabs are then soldered to the board, so changing them is a pain. And there are a lot of them. Coming over to a real game, we see the same battery problem. Also notice the complete lack of care taken when they cut the board out. It's like they couldn't see the future, where these things were worth like twice as much as the whole system. Am I right? But this Chinese repro board has all the problems solved. They put a socket right on the board. This means that 25 years later, my fat ass doesn't have to open each game up, desolder the battery, and put a socket on myself. Since I bill myself at about $40 an hour, and if I get into the rhythm, I could theoretically do 4 or so in that time, that means these $10 cards are free. Yeah, at least that's how I'm trying to justify spending $40 on fake versions of games I can already play. The Reaper Man, are you endorsing piracy? Well, to answer that question truthfully, yes. There's no way to buy these games for the original system in a way that's going to pay the rights owner. So I suggest buying superior fakes for $10 from China where you know what you're getting, and not handmade jankery for $40 from some dude on Etsy.